everyone! Friday night! Yay! Same as all the other nights! Yay! I thought I'd do a Facebook Live tonight because I didn't get a chance to do one last week with a few other things that I was doing. So I made a really late decision about what I was going to cook for dinner for our family, and it turns out my husband, Paul, who's the cameraman, is also going to be, he's actually going to be barbecuing tonight. But I had all these other ingredients that I still wanted to be able to cook. And all of them are vegetables, and they're all going to sort of be roasted in the oven. Oh, let me just check the oven's on. Yes, it's on. Sorry, I'm doing glance of my tracky dacks right there. Yes, so I'm doing vegetables, roasting them for various purposes. So I'm going to do some roast potatoes. I'm going to do some roast carrots, which are my favourite thing in the world. You won't believe what's going on behind the camera there. It's very distracting, Dan, your daughter picking up your dog and your husband telling her what to do and stuff. Crazy times. And then the other thing that I'm kind of excited about is I'm going to try cooking these little, look, I'm calling them pumpkins. Hang on, why don't I hold up a full one? That's, maybe really technically they're squash, or they're called squash. They're actually sold as decorative squash, I think. So I did a little bit of Googling, like, can I cook those? And of course you can. You can cook them like any other kind of pumpkin. And so I thought I would give that a go as a bit of an experiment. So I didn't go out and buy these. I get a vegetable box from a whole lot of local growers each week from Southern Harvest Association. Love you guys. And I ended up with these, and I sort of have to find a way to cook them. So I'm experimenting. I'll let you know after this Facebook Live whether or not what I'm about to do actually works. But I have faith, because you can cook big pumpkins this way, so I have faith you can cook little pumpkins this way too. So I will start with roast potatoes. Now I've got a whole lot of kestrel potatoes, which are the ones with the purple eyes. They're quite small ones, and I've cut them all in half. Now, I will tell you that my experience with roast potatoes is that if you parboil them before you bake them, they actually turn out heaps better. So you get a beautiful soft middle, and you get that nice crunchy baked outside. But that requires more pots, and it also requires more time than I can really be bothered investing in my potatoes this evening. So instead of roasting them whole, I've sort of chopped them in half, and I'm going to just pour a little bit of oil over the top of them. This is olive oil. Now you might be asking yourself, how much oil is that, Jen? And I'm going to tell you, I don't really know. It's about a splash, a large splash is what we'll call it. Can you tell I'm a little bit like over this whole isolation thing, so that's how much effort we're putting in. We're putting in a splash of oil. The idea is that you just...
A splash of effort.
A splash of effort to splash of oil. That's where we are this evening. And really, you just want your potatoes to have a nice thin coat of oil over the top of them. You don't want them drowning in oil. Oh, that's really nice. It's not going to be healthy. You don't want them drowning in oil. You just want them nice and covered. And then with the potatoes, I'm going to fancy them up with this. Now, this is not a spice that you're going to have in your... most people aren't going to have this spice in their cupboard. This is super fancy organic fermented black garlic salt from the essential ingredient. Now, yay, it's absolutely delicious. It's salt mixed with like tiny pieces of black garlic, and it has this really lovely sort of umami, umami, really savory kind of deliciousness that it adds to absolutely everything. But you can see this is a tiny little jar. It was very expensive, and the truth is that I don't use it very often, and I probably need to start just using it up so it still stays nice. So what I'm going to do is just sprinkle that all over the potatoes, so you can see you get the gorgeous black flecks as well as the...
What else can you use?
Nice salt. I would just be using salt. If I didn't have this tiny little thing that I wanted to use up because I bought it in a fit of enthusiasm and then didn't have any other places to use it, I would just be using salt on my potatoes, normal salt. In fact, I would actually be using this salt. So this is a, actually this is probably called a finishing salt, but it's like a sea salt flakes, if you like. That's what I would be using. If I didn't have it, and I might put some rosemary, chop up some rosemary really finely and toss that through the potatoes. Actually, that would be really nice with this. Can someone go get me some rosemary from the garden? Okay. Yeah. And so the idea is, like, I'm stirring it just with a spatula because that's quite handy, but you can stir it with whatever you like. And you can see the black flakes, makes it very easy for me to see that I have covered everything. Now my daughter's just run out to get me some rosemary, so I'll leave that there while I move on to my carrots. These are also carrots from Southern Harvest that I have peeled. I'm going to say these are a little bit old, so they're not super crispy, but that makes them roast really well, I think. So, same again, oil. Less oil because less ingredients.
But a generous splash.
But a generous splash indeed. Oh, look, my other spatulas are in the dishwasher and it's running. So I'll just stir that through. Look, use your hands if you've washed them, as I have, but you know. And then on these carrots, I'm going to tell you what my two favourite ever spices are that I would put on any roast vegetable at any time, anywhere. Thank you. Special appearance from my daughter Lydia. So I've got some garlic. Just take a close up of the vegetables so you don't catch my tracky pants while I walk over and wash my rosemary from the garden. Oh, look, okay, so I'm halfway through two jobs. I started talking about the carrots, but really I want to go back to the potatoes and do the rosemary. And I'm just going to strip all the rosemary. But I am in one of those moods where, you know, I'm not going to spend that much time chopping it that small because, you know, that's where we are at the moment. So, just chop that up. We've got a few large pieces there. It might end up being a bit, as we say, rustic, but that's all right. So I'll just stir that through the potatoes as I did the garlic. Okay, so where was I? With the carrots, I had them nicely coated in oil, and then, oh, probably hanging in suspense, wondering what my two favourite spices are. For any roast vegetable, they are caraway and Nigella seed. Now, you might be thinking, oh, Nigella seed, don't see that very often. It's not like a super common spice, but it's really nice. You would have had it before if you have had Turkish bread with black seeds on top, because it's commonly used on top of Turkish bread. So for this many carrots, which is really quite a small portion, that's probably 1/4 teaspoon that I will put on top of my carrots. And I'll add the same amount of caraway. Oh, now I love caraway so much, so much. I think there was a good portion of my life that was caraway-less. And then when I rediscovered it, I was like, oh, caraway, it's so good, it's so exotic. But actually, this is the least exotic spice in the history of spices.
But you don't want to get carried away.
You don't want to get carried away with it. No, it is, because most cuisines in the whole entire world have, like most cuisines have caraway as an ingredient in them, including Eastern Europe, the Middle East. Most cuisines have, North Africa has caraway as part of its harissa paste. It's actually a very common spice, and it goes perfectly with carrots, and it goes perfectly with cauliflower. So caraway is perfect to have in cauliflower soup. It's perfect, goes really well with cheese too. So I sometimes make cheese and cauliflower scones. A bit of carrot peel. I told you that I had peeled the carrots first. didn't I? But then just put them in.
You have now.
I've told you now. Fab. So, before I get onto the pumpkin, I might just put the potatoes in the oven. So I've got this big roasting tray. I'm trying not to show anyone my socks. And I'm just tipping them all. Don't! No one's meant to know. I just keep referring to it. That's my downfall. Okay, so once I tipped them into the pot, I still had a lot of oil, so I just used my spatula to get that oil into the pot. And at first I was thinking that I would put all the carrots in here as well, but actually I want the potatoes to have quite a bit of space, air around them. That'll make them a little bit more crispy in this pot. And sometimes if you have them face down, I find they stick. In the initial stages of cooking, they stick to the pot. So I'm just chipping them so they're all cut side up. Perfect. Okay, I'm putting these in the oven now. Close up on the carrots while I do that. Oh, here's the, don't look at the socks. Man. Okay, the carrots, I've got another roasting tin here, which I've lined because it will make cleanup easier at the end. And I'm doing the same thing, making sure I don't leave all those spices in the bowl, tipping them on top of the carrots, laying them all out. Roast carrots, my favourite things. Putting them in the oven. They will require less time than the potatoes. But then my experimental veg. I'm going to try these 2 ways because I've never done this before. So I'm going to try these 2 ways. I'm going to try with some chili flakes and with some cinnamon. So with the chili flakes, I've got, you can see what I've done. I've just chopped this one this size in half and scooped out the seeds. And now I'm just going to chop that into chunks. And I use the same bowl as my carrots. Oh, sorry. A little bit of oil.
A generous splash.
Actually, that was probably more generous than I meant to be with that splash, but you know, no worries. Cover them, and I'm going to put some chili flakes and salt on these. So, spicy. Yeah,
We'll make sure our other daughter knows which ones to eat.
Yeah, that's right. I can't see. I might put a little bit of that salt that I said that I was going to put on. And some pepper on those. And lie those in the tray. Skin side down, I think. Now, I haven't peeled them because that peel, A, is so pretty. And also, you don't need to.
Once it's cooked, you can eat it.
Yeah, I cleaned them, and you can eat it. I will say that I am the only one in my family that eats it. Aren't I, darling? So that's that first one. And then I reckon with this one, which I've also cleaned, I'm going to do this with cinnamon and butter. And I'm riffing off an idea that a friend gave me this week when she was from the States, and she talked about how they love pumpkin and they have all this tinned pumpkin and how they use pumpkin for all their baking and their gluten-free baking. And I just thought, you know what? I can work with that idea. So I've cut that. See how I've cut this one differently? I've cut it through the centre.
Do you know which one's which?
Well, I know which one's which because I've cut them differently.
Yeah. That way you cut them different.
Well, this one, I've got a second producer here. My daughter's trying to produce. And with these ones, I'm going to get a little bit of butter. I don't know. Look, I reckon probably about a teaspoon. A teaspoon of butter, which will melt down, and so instead of the oil, that will melt into the pumpkin flesh. And I'm going to put a little bit of cinnamon, and if they are too not sweet enough once they're baked, then I might just sprinkle brown sugar over the top. But I think I'll leave that off until I taste them at the end. Once again, I mean, full disclosure, I am freestyling here tonight. I don't know if this will work, but I feel like if we're ever going to try something fun like this, it's going to be while we're in isolation with nothing else to do. So I will put all these in the oven. I'm not sure how long they're going to take. If I was using a big piece of pumpkin, I would check it after 20 minutes and see how we were going. So with these, I think I'll give them 15 minutes and then see how we go. My oven's at 200 degrees with these guys. I'll let you know how we go afterwards. The potatoes are going to be eaten by the whole family. With our barbecue, the carrots are going to be added to a salad. Roast carrots are perfect for that. The pumpkins, we'll see how we go. I think the chili ones will be in the salad, or perhaps on the side because I've got chili. The kids won't appreciate it. And we'll see what happens with the cinnamon ones. Stay tuned to Facebook if you want to know how these turn out. We'll put a picture up on Facebook. And of course the whole video will end up being on YouTube. So make sure you search for our recipes on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can be able to put more recipes up there. If you've got some ideas of what you want us to cook in these Facebook Lives, please let us know. At the moment, we're just choosing based on you know, what our families are having for dinner and what we're doing in our kitchen, because Easy, Healthy, Tasty is all about simple, no fuss home cooking. But if there's an ingredient you want us to try, or there's something you want to you know, you've got no idea how to cook and you want to spend your isolation learning how to cook, let us know. Tomorrow night, Charity is going to be doing homemade pizzas, so you can enjoy pizza night with Charity tomorrow night. I hope you're all doing well and staying socially connected even though we're physically distant. Happy eating, everyone.